what lies in the 47th ASEAN Summit for the globe and India. Why ASEAN is so important for our country. And even after this, why our Prime Minister is attending this important summit just virtually. In the era of shifting power equations in the Indo-Pacific region, the 47th ASEAN Summit of 2025 has reaffirmed the centrality of Southeast Asia in the global geopolitics. Hello everyone, welcome to Vajiram and Ravi's Flash News. My name is Shubhangi Singh and today we are not going to just talk about the 47th ASEAN Summit but also look into the importance of ASEAN for India and why even after such huge importance our Prime Minister decided to be just virtually present. So let us get into the details. Let us talk about the summit itself first. This is the 47th ASEAN Summit. This is at present taking place in Kuala Lumpur and it is important this time because this is where they have got their 11th member, that is Timor Leste. So if we talk about this particular summit that is taking place, it is taking place in Malaysia. Themes are an important part from the perspective of your exam. So the theme here is Resilient ASEAN, Advancing Integration, Peace and Partnership. Especially on this part, India is relying. Certain major outcomes are already there. As I said, there has been 11th edition to this regional cooperation where Timor Leste has been added as the member. This is one of the first expansions, especially after the 1990s, and this meeting has been attended by our Prime Minister only virtually. But this will give you an insight that ASEAN is very important for us because of the fact that 2026 has been declared as the ASEAN-India Year of Maritime Cooperation. So it is not just about maritime cooperation, there are multiple geopolitical dimensions which are very important for you to understand. So let us move ahead and talk about this particular organization itself. This organization came in being in 1967 via Bangkok Declaration. So when you talk about this particular organization, it only had 5 original members. That means initially it began with 5 members and these members were Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore and Thailand. Can you tell me in the comment section which are the other 5 members which were added in the 1990s? And the next edition has now taken place after almost 35 years, that is Timor Leste. Also tell me in the comment section where Timor Leste is exactly located. So the whole reason this organization has come together is in order to integrate not just politically but also economically and also socio-culturally, especially for Southeast Asia. So they are together for cooperation, not just for the political effects but for the economic as well as the socio-culture effects that can be seen in this very region. Now, when ASEAN is for this particular region and India is a little far away from there, why it is so important for India? We will be getting into that, but before that, let us try to understand the significance of ASEAN itself. So, when we are talking about ASEAN, this has a combined GDP of 3.6 trillion and at present it hosts the population of 700 million people approximately. So, that means this becomes the 5th largest economy as a combination and it is already aiming to become the 4th largest economy in the next 10 years. Furthermore, it is not just about, as I said, economic factors. It is focusing on not just promoting economic growth but peace as well as collective bargaining power as an organization in the global space. Now this number might have given you a clear idea that how significant ASEAN is. Now let us move to understand that how ASEAN is significant for us and how we have been close with ASEAN not since today but since 1992. So it was in 1992 that the dialogue partnership started, and after 10 years we were able to get the summit level partnership. That means we started participating in the ASEAN summits that were taking place. And again after 10 years, that means almost after 20 years of dialogue partnership, we entered into a strategic partnership with ASEAN. And then again after 30 years of the initiation of our dialogue partnership, we were upgraded to comprehensive strategic partnership. The reason I am highlighting this timeline is the fact for you to understand that ASEAN is always been very particular about the participants and the ethos that it carries, and that is what can be depicted through this gradual timeline with which India's participation and engagement with ASEAN has gone ahead. There are certain key agreements we have with ASEAN, but we are really looking forward to a free trade agreement which has been in talks for a very long time, but certain challenges have not been able to address. So if we talk about the key agreements, we get to see there are many key agreements that clearly highlight that what kind of partnership that we have seen over the years, especially the free trade agreement that is between ASEAN and India, and it has been operational since 2010. It remains an important part of cooperation, but it remains an important part of challenges as well, because the renegotiation for the FTA has been on for a long time, because FTA favors ASEAN way more than it does India. Other than that, there is a plan of action since 2021 to 2025, which has a clear roadmap for cooperation in different dimensions such as trade, connectivity, science and tech, and environment as well. And there is a clear outline for the next phase. That means from the next year, from 2026 to 2030, that there will be focus on digital economy, green energy and maritime linkages. And that is why 2026 has been marked as the year of India-ASEAN maritime cooperation. So we get to see that India's engagement with ASEAN blends not just with economic interest, but also the cultural diplomacy and as well as security partnerships. For example, India's initiatives like Sagar project and Act East policy, all of this align very well with ASEAN's vision of secure Indo-Pacific region. And now let us directly understand that why ASEAN is such an important component for India. So when we are talking about ASEAN, we have to understand as the cooperation is on multiple terms, economic, security as well as cultural. Let us understand the significance in those dimensions as well. So when we are talking about economic importance, you have to understand ASEAN and India together, they are immensely important trade partners. ASEAN at present is India's fourth largest trading partner. If we talk about the bilateral trade that we are doing with each other, it has crossed $123 billion in this very year. And if you're talking about investments, then we have seen investment flows increasing from ASEAN, be it in manufacturing, energy, fintech, and even logistics. The key sectors that India is aiming to see growth in coming years. If we talk from the security point of view, you have to understand the strategic importance and the pivotal role that ASEAN plays. That comes from the fact that ASEAN remains the gateway to East Asia and also the Pacific market. Can you tell me in the comment section the important strait which is present in Southeast Asia, which can be a choking point as well as a facilitating point for India? So that is why there is an importance of collaboration between ASEAN and India, be it from maritime security, anti-piracy and also disaster relief, because this region remains prone to disasters, especially earthquakes as well as tsunami. And the direct partnership, strategic partnership that aligns for ASEAN and India as well is on the fact that they are looking for free, open and inclusive Indo-Pacific. That means this region remains open to all partnership, and any expansionist claims from any countries, specifically China here, should not be entertained or promoted at all. And the third factor, the third dimension is the connectivity importance. ASEAN remains important for connectivity not just through straits but for many projects, infrastructure projects. For example, Kaladan multimodal project, then we have IMT highway that we get to see, which gives connectivity for India's northeast as well as ASEAN, which is very much important for the economic development which we are looking for northeast India. All in all, we get to see that ASEAN remains the pivot of eastern diplomacy for India, because it is not only helping us counter China, secure our strategic interests, provide connectivity, but also get us in the economic map of Southeast Asia, which remains very important from India, especially from the view of RCEP withdrawal, as well as the restructuring that we need to do in terms of supply chain, especially after COVID-19. Now that we have clearly established that ASEAN is very important, that's why this summit also holds such huge importance, and how important ASEAN is for India. But when this is the scenario, why did our Prime Minister did not go and attend this summit in person, and why did he decide to attend this meeting just virtually? It has been quoted that it coincided with his domestic schedule, but you have to understand that how this is again a game of diplomacy, because it was not just about India's ASEAN summit which is taking place on the side, but also about meeting other leaders which are present there. So if you talk about the strategic understanding, it highlights the fact the given complicated bilateral relations, especially between US and India as of now, helped in avoiding a friction point between Donald Trump's presence, and it also helped to show that there is a balanced focus on just multilateral ASEAN cooperation rather than just individual diplomacy. So it is also about what kind of narrative is being set. If the narrative is about avoiding Donald Trump, no, it's not that the scenario. It is about focusing on not just the individual diplomacy, but on India-ASEAN summit that is taking place. It also showcased directly India's ability to not just be present in person, but to be able to use digital tools and diplomacy in place of physical presence, because there are times when domestic matters as well as international matters can be handled very well by using technology itself. And because of this, we have clearly seen the virtual presence, which might be seen as absence by many, but it clearly highlights that the commitment especially to the continuity and towards ASEAN exists, and also it helped in addressing and affirming the ASEAN centrality that we talk about, and of course the announcement of Maritime Cooperation Year of 2026. Now when we are talking about ASEAN-India cooperation, we also have to understand that all has not been hunky-dory for very long, and there are multiple challenges that need to be addressed. So if we talk about challenges, the first major challenge I have already mentioned is the trade imbalance. India exports to ASEAN, ASEAN exports to India, but the trade balance lies in favor of ASEAN. If we talk about non-tariff barriers and logistical issues, both of these hinder small exporters which are present, and India, its exit from the regional comprehensive economic partnership, that has reduced the integration India had, especially in the Indo-Pacific supply chains and the regional value chains which were present. So these challenges need to be addressed in time so that this cooperation can be heightened and realize the potential which is in present. Other than that, in terms of strategic challenges, we also get to see that ASEAN is a consensus based model. That means there will be no dramatic, bold, direct decisions, and there is divergent national interest which basically slows down the speed of Indo-Pacific cooperation that we are expecting. Other than that, we also get to see that China is having economic dominance in Southeast Asia as well as ASEAN, as compared to India's influence, and it complicates India's presence in the region. And coming to the last factor, that is the connectivity, which we are banking upon so much. It needs to be delivered, and as of now it is plagued with financial delays, digital delays, and that's why we need to bring in faster financial as well as digital integration, so that the things we are banking upon, they are delivered and we see better and brighter India-ASEAN cooperation. Now on this note, I will leave you with a practice question here. You can send in your answers in the comment section. That was all from my side. Thank you so much.